Now let's explore some functionality which is available in our Windows systems pertaining to OpenVPN. Now for this environment, we will first create two virtual machines. The first virtual machine that we will create, so we will go into our new and we will create a virtual machine called Windows 10. I'm going to connect and ISO to it and just gonna skip an unattended install. The hardware looks fine. Okay, so let's say finish. And then I'm going to install a Windows 10 machine. Okay, so and in fact, while we are doing that side by side, okay, we can also go ahead and we can install a Windows 2019 server. For that, I'm again going to do Win 2019. I'm again going to select an ISO. Uh, Finish. Now this one also I will go to the settings and I will switch it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna run it right now with NAT, but I will change it later. For the Windows 2010 machine, I'm gonna click on next. I will click on install now. I will say I don't have a product key. We will choose the Windows 10 Pro. Okay. We will click on next. I will accept this, continue, custom install, next. All right, and then we will copy. In the meanwhile, we will also create a Windows 2019 machine. I'm going to install that on the side. I'm going to choose the desktop experience. Move next. Accept the terms and conditions. Do a custom install. We'll just wait for it to get finished in terms of installation. We're almost there. Now, what we are going to be doing is we are going to configure a domain controller. And once we have configured the domain controller, we will view the different types of functionality in terms of OpenVPN. All right, so you can see here, almost the installations are complete. We are going to deploy that infrastructure and we are going to look at the different types of encryption options which are available over the internet. So we will be able to deploy a virtual private network and we can choose the level of security we are looking for. I'm just going to wait for this to finish because I think after copying also it takes a few minutes. Okay, so I'm going to just restart this now. This is the Windows 2019 machine. In fact, I'm just going to power it down. I'm going to go to the settings and I'm going to change the network to, instead of NAT, I will make it into internal network with allow all. And I'm going to start it again. In the meanwhile, I will go to the Windows 10 machine that is also almost there. I will do the same thing for that one once we restart. So I'm going to click on restart. Then I am going to power it down. Okay. I will change the settings to NAT Instead of NAT, I will change, sorry, not for 2019. For Windows 10, I will change the settings to internal network. I have one already, internal network by default, and then I'm going to start it again. Let's go with 2019, which is just getting the devices ready. And I've also opened the 2010 machine, which is also getting ready. And let's wait for both the installations to complete. I'm going to put the password for the administrator. This is important. And once I put it, it cannot be changed. Right. And once I have put I'm going to log in into the machine. So let me do Control Alt Del to log in into the machine. And I will start preparing it as a domain controller. So while that is running, the Windows 10 machine can also parallelly install because it is also trying to log in. We'll give it a few minutes on the left-hand side. In the meanwhile, we will prepare this Win 2019 machine as a domain controller. So how do we do that? We will first wait for Server Manager to start, which will be the key that we will use. So let's just wait for it to install. Just gonna, sorry, the computer is, okay, I'm gonna say do not show this message again, and I'm gonna change this. Then I'm gonna go to tools. I do see existing tools, but I'm gonna go to manage. And first, let me go to the local server and change the name. So I'm going to change the name of this computer to Windows 2019. Okay. Okay. Close. Restart now so that the name is changed. All right. Let's give it a minute. Right. And let's wait for it to, in the meanwhile, be done. Okay. I'm just going to go back in and I'm going to log in again. Okay. And I'm going to install a routing and remote access server on this. All right. So for that, first I need to get a proper IP address. So let me do that first. So here I will go to the open network and troubleshooting. Over here, I'm going to go to change adapter options. And there I'm going to go to the properties and make a change on the IP version 4, wherein I will put an IP address 192.168.0.10. Make it like this and keep the default gateway in 192.168.0.10. Keep the rest of them the same. Okay, let's wait. I'm expecting it should Give me an IP address. Okay, it's an unidentified network. That's fine. Okay, but if I now go to the, okay, okay, let me just select this here in the meanwhile. Okay, so I am in the United States and I will go yes, skip. I'll call myself the instructor. It has set up on its own. I'm just going to remove some of these options. Accept. Then I'm going to go here. I'm going to, maybe I can go to the PowerShell directly. So I'm going to go to Windows PowerShell and there I am going to install the routing and remote access role. So I will do add Windows feature direct access VPN routing include management tools. Let's wait for it. I'm just going to set the IP address for this Windows 10 machine. I'm going to go to change adapter options. I'm going to right click here, go to the properties, IP version 4, 192.168.0.11, and I will put the default gateway as 192.168.0.10. Preferred DNS 192.168.0.10, and then close. Wait, yeah, I will say yes because I do want it to be discovered. Okay. later. Once that is done, I will just refresh it here and I will configure my VPN server, which is required for me. Okay, all right. So looks like we have this bar here. I'm going to just refresh it once more. In the meanwhile, we'll just go to the CMD to check everything is working. Looks like it is working. Let's go to the tools and I do see the routing and remote access. Let me now go to this, right click and configure and enable. I'm going to click next. We are going to enable the routing access, which is the dial-up or the VPN, allowing remote clients to connect to this machine. Okay, so the VPN option is not here up. I'm just going to refresh it again. Okay, sometimes we need just to refresh this once more. I'm also going to refresh it and come back to it. Okay, I'm going to refresh it once more for all the services to run. Sometimes if the services are not running, it doesn't work. So I will go back in. I will go to the routing and remote access. I will go to right click, configure and routing remote. Go here next. Yeah, VPN is working. So we are going to make a VPN gateway. All right. We are going to click next. It is saying less than two interfaces were detected for standard VPN configuration. At least two needed. Please use the custom configuration. Okay. So we need to have one more so I'm going to close this here. I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this. Same is the case. I need to have the second interface configured here. I'm going to close both of them. I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to go to network. In the second network, I'm also going to enable another second internal network. We don't have one. Okay, let me say host only. Okay. And I'm going to say allow all. Okay, same is the case with this one. I'm going to go create a second one, which is in the network, advanced host only. And I'm going to say allow all. Okay. So now two adapters available for both of them. I'm going to start both the machines again. And I'm just going to log in over here. There I am going to wait for the server manager to open. In the meanwhile, I will also open it here. I'm going to go to tools, routing and remote access. Right click, configure remote, go next, next. We will do a VPN. I will click on next. Okay. All right. I did have two interfaces. Let me check if they are both not working or something. Let me check. So this is the first one, change adapter options. Both are an identified network, but both have IP addresses. In fact, I should be able to see them if I go back to the server manager with local server. So I should be, yeah, I see both of them. The second one is assigned by DHCP, which is fine. I will go back here. I will click next. I'm going to say OK. I'm gonna less than two network interfaces were directed for standard VPN. At least two network interfaces need to be installed, but I did. Okay, let me again. Okay, let me do one more step. This may actually quickly do that. All right, so let me do, okay, this is called Ethernet 2, right? And I did I see an IP address, CMD, IP config. Oh, it has an IP address. Okay, so then let's do that. Let's keep it like this. If that is what they have given, I will do that too. I will say uh, on PowerShell again, enable net adapter name Ethernet 2. Confirm $true. Okay, then mm, I don't think anything is needed. Ethernet confirm true. Both are enabled now. So let me go back in. I'm gonna close this, go back to the, refresh this again. Then I need to change the IP address to this one. So let me go back in, open network and settings, change the adapter option, right click properties, 192. What was the IP that was given? 56.103, 168, 56.103. Let's go back and check on the local configuration. I'm just gonna refresh it once. Should start showing static. Let's go back to the routing and remote access and let's configure again. Next VPN. Okay, now I see both the interfaces. I will use the first interface and I'm gonna remove this. Let's go next. Yeah, okay. All right, let me put the range 192, 168, 0.22, 192, 168, 0.15. Next, no need for route radius server, and I will finish. Let's wait for it. Finish. Okay, so once we have done both these things, we need to now go back and so we have now configured this for VPN. Let's go ahead, let's make some changes. So I will first go into the I think it is green now, right? So let me go into the ports first. Now these are the different types of protocols, all right? And these are the encryption protocols available, all right? So say, for example, we look at PPTP. This is point-to-point tunneling protocol. Here, the authentication is based on username and password, and this runs on port number 1723. Similarly, the other one is L2TP, which is IPsec, providing encryption for layer 2 tunneling protocol. It has a pre-shared key with certificates and Kerberos, and L2TP connectivity is using either UDP port 500 or UDP port 4500, and the IP port protocol is 50. Similarly, you could have the secure socket tunneling protocol based on the secure socket layer security, all right, using port number 443. Or you could have the IKE, which is the Internet Key Exchange version 2 protocol. All right, and this does not require IP version 2 authentication to be configured separately. So these features of VPN reconnect would be used automatically when the network connectivity would be restored. So you have different features and functionality available. You also have other types of protocol like GRE, etc., used specifically for routing. We will choose, let's say we choose one of the authentication protocols like L2TP. All right, so if we use a simple one like L2TP, we can actually choose that and then we can configure our server to enable that. But we can change it later on also. So depending on your the level of security you wish to use, you need to change that. All right, and every time you go ahead and change it, for example, here let me say, for example, let me choose L2TP, layer 2 tunneling protocol. I will go to configure. I'm going to put the IP address, which is 192.168.0.100, which sorry 10, which is this IP address, the computer's IP address. Then I will say okay. Similarly, I can go here, go to the properties. There again in IP version 4, I need to make sure I will choose in Ethernet number 2. Okay, and here in the security, I would need to choose. So can you see? Allow IPsec for L2TP and put the pre-shared key. Say, for example, my pre-shared key is, it's a simple password, but let me keep that pre-shared key. So I can keep my information here and use that pre-shared key for myself. All right. So different options are available when you are configuring. And then based on that, you can decide on what are the options. Okay. I'm going to say okay here. You're saying to enable IPsec, you must restart. I will say okay. Then I will go here, and I will restart this. So we can give it a minute. In the meanwhile, I can go to user. I think that's what the one, right? User, add, remove, or edit users in the your info. I believe I need to enable something, sign in options. Some are hidden. How do I enable the VPN grant in or something? Okay. Let me see how to password dynamic log. Okay. Your info. Okay, that's fine. I don't see any option here. Okay, now that we have enabled this here, maybe we want to try a little bit on how we can do. Okay, so once we have saved these changes, all right, so we've made some changes and we have allowed the key, etc., to be there. We can go to PLAB here, this machine, which is the Windows 10 machine. I'm gonna just open right click and go to this is the one, right? So I'm gonna open network and internet settings. I'm first going to check on the VPN, and then I can add a VPN connection. Let me say this is the Windows built-in, which may be called, say, for example, my practice VPN. I will put the server name here, 192.168.0.10. And I will say the type of VPN here is L2TP with pre-shared key. What is the pre-shared key? The word password, which I just wrote over there. Okay, and then the rest of the things we can just save and we can try. Okay, so I can go here, practice VPN. I'm just going to go to the advanced options. I'm just going to look at some of the settings here. Okay, you can put the username and password, etc. I can, sorry, where did it go? Yeah, closed it by mistake. So VPN, in this, I can then go and I can click on connect. And we will need to provide the details. So let me say, I think the username was administrator and the password was, we'll say, okay, just checking. The remote, because the username and password did not, what is it instructor or something? Let me see, instructor. Okay, and we should be able to hopefully get the remote because the username and password did not recognize. Okay, let's try to see what we can do with this. Maybe I need to make one more user. Okay, so let me do that. I will go in and I will make a user. Let me go to local users, users directory, because I think I need to grant add remove users, your info, sign in options. I have allow Windows, Bluetooth and other devices. I believe I should have, no. There's an option to enable remote sign in. Okay, let me just see how to enable that sign in options. And then let's go ahead and let's add another user to just see if we can enable the sign in option, remote sign in option, that is. Okay. So let's try it. 1 second. All right. I have this administrator user. I'm going to go to the properties and I'm going to, in the dial in, I'm going to allow access. I think that should do the trick. Okay. I'm going to try again. This time connect again with the administrator. So add administrator. Okay. And can you see it is connected? All right. So we can actually create our own VPN server with our VPN gateway. Then, just like I have done it for pre-shared keys, you can decide to maybe take another type of open VPN and use it to connect from one machine to another. Now, this connection over the internet, public internet, will be in an encrypted connection. How can you check that? Well, you can look at it from the L2TP pre-shared key, which is being used for encryption. And Windows provides you these protocols so that you can utilize them for going ahead and establishing uh, a secure connection over the internet. All right. And this would uh, be possible by utilizing the Windows Server 2019 to install this. Okay. That's all we have for the demonstration. Thank you.